Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today's January 18th, and right now we are looking at the Doppler radar, Camano Island right here. Will be Seattle, looking at Everett and Bellingham here. You can see Vancouver Island right there. So if you look at the noisier pattern here showing up in the correlation coefficient, that is probably where the rain is right there. And you can see that rain line creeping north slowly. Had some light snow across some Everett this morning. Probably still some mixing in around Arlington, Marysville. But as you can see, this snow shield here is moving up across some Skagit and Whatcom County. They did issue this winter weather advisory, better late than never, and some snow is flying across Whidbey Island, the San Juans, probably some cold air still tucked away as we get this east wind pushing into the Olympic Mountains. So there's probably still some temperatures right around freezing here for some areas. I saw some observations right around 32 for Port Townsend there as well, but southern areas down towards Union and Shelton looks like they have warmed up there. However, back into some of the Cascade valleys, the east winds blowing some of that cooler air at the surface, some freezing rain will probably accumulate on in through the day today. And of course, across the higher terrain, some mountain snows will continue to pile up. And if we go further south, I want to show you the Portland metro area. It looks like 35 right now at Portland International, but there is a surge of cool air that's showing up in some of the models, continuing to try to push out as we go through the day today. So very tricky forecast here. You can see Troutdale right on the edge there at 33. So areas east are likely to cool down a bit more here versus the further out across the Willamette Valley you get. There's still the ice storm warning going on, and you can see back towards Hood River, it's 25 degrees. So this is just going to be an ice storm going on across much of the gorge. Now, taking a look at current observations, you can see again 30 at Bellingham. That northeast wind is still flowing out across some of the San Juans as well. So that is going to be snowfall falling as we go through the day today. And potentially could be some freezing rain tonight across some of Bellingham as well, as that warmer air tries to scour out the colder air, but it's going to be trapped in some areas, especially back in towards some of the valleys. And if we go south a little bit here as well, you can see the very chilly temperatures for the Dalles and towards Fort Hood. And again, there's kind of a fine line on how much of this cold air is going to spill back out. Are we going to keep some of that icing going on in through tonight across some of the Portland metro? Good questions. Now, taking a look at the NAM 3KM, this is this morning's run. You can see that freezing rain. It kind of shows this continuing on through the day, but some areas, as I showed, have gone above freezing here. So hopefully that's lessening some of the icing going on. And up tucked back in the valleys here as well, against the Washington, Oregon Cascades here, you could still get some freezing rain, as I mentioned. And you can see the snow kind of ending as we go on in through tonight for some of the San Juans here. But you see some of that lower level cold air, tough to scour out across some of Whatcom County into southwest BC. Could be kind of a freezing rain issue as we go on in through tonight, very early tomorrow morning. And then we start to warm things up, as you can see, finally some rain getting into southwest BC here as well as we go on in towards Friday night. East of the mountains, a different story. I'll show you some of that here in a moment. But look at the total snow. Get the NAM 3KM versus the high-resolution Canadian model here on the right. And these models have been pretty similar here. And you can kind of see it showing that snow kind of still piling up as we go through the day today and across some of southwest BC and Whatcom County there as well. It could get another couple inches or so. But nothing expected for the Seattle metro, as you can see. And you can see the snow piling up across some of the Cascades as we go on in through tomorrow. Now, looking at accumulating freezing rain, this European is hot off the presses here. I waited to do the video for the 12Z run. You can see again across some of the eastern portions up against the foothills, the freezing rain continuing to accumulate. And you can see that on the European, it actually shows some of that freezing rain picking back up again, maybe trying to push some cold air back out across some of the Portland metro again. And of course, the ice storm goes on through tomorrow morning, all the way in through the gorge areas, towards the Dalles and Fort Hood there as well. And you can see we might get some icing across eastern Washington, not looking like exceptional heavy amounts, better amounts down across Oregon here. And this could extend all the way in towards Idaho here as well. And you got to notice here that the European is not showing much ice accretion here across some of Bellingham, for example. Now, taking a look at the 100-meter wind speeds, I just want to show you the directions here. And, of course, we're dealing with these terrain features where it's pulling that colder air through the Columbia River Gorge here down across western Oregon. You can see the Stampede Gap here. And this is a higher elevation conduit here, basically. So you get some compression and some heating and some drying more than you do so with the Columbia River Gorge. So that's why Seattle isn't really suspect to these ice events as Portland is, for example. And you can see the Fraser River outflow going on through tomorrow morning and then it kind of starts to slow down a bit as we go through Friday night and on into Saturday. Looks like we're going to be done with that for the most part, even though it's still a little bit of light out of the northeast here as we go through Saturday night. We should be scouring much of this cold air out of here by then. This is that freezing rain here. This was updated yesterday afternoon for Portland. Again, kind of showing that probability for some of that cooler air to remain across some of the Portland metro here as we go on in through tomorrow morning. And just showing you that the ice storm warning is still in effect for the gorge there. And we still have that winter weather advisory out right now. I can update it. And yes, it is still there for some of the Portland metro. Now, looking at the next round of snow here, eastern portions, you can see they've kind of outlined this for the transition to wintry mix with sleet and freezing rain. Sleet, otherwise known as ice pellets across this area, so watch out for the slippery conditions. And this is what we're expecting here. Check out Pasco at 3 to 4 inches, Walla Walla, Ritzville 2 to 3, Spokane another inch or two, Pullman as well, and some snow coming up across Idaho and Montana also. And this goes on into Friday night. And just showing you that the winter weather advisory does include Whidbey Island, the San Juans here, and portions of western Skagit and Whatcom counties as well. In fact, let's just click on that to see how long they extended that if we can. Winter weather advisory right there. 10 p.m. this evening here, and you can see additional snow accumulations of 2 to 4 inches potential and a bit of a light glaze as well. This is the light freezing rain for some portions of Idaho and Montana. I just wanted to kind of highlight this across some of the Idaho panhandle. You could get some of this light freezing rain in there, and you can see some of the wind chill advisories for the area for cold conditions across some areas like Great Falls and Cut Bank. This is eastern Oregon. Don't want to leave them out and high and dry as well. You can see you got winter weather warnings, winter storm warnings, winter weather advisories, all kinds of stuff. We got so much going on here. You can see the Washington Cascades, Yakima and Kittitas Valleys, northern Blue Mountains, north central Oregon, eastern Columbia River Gorge. Also, I wanted to point this out across Mount Idaho. You can see this blue is avalanche warnings on going out there. So if you're going off in the backcountry, western Wyoming there, some Idaho, anywhere along the Washington, Oregon Cascades as well up to BC, make sure to check your local avalanche centers for that. And you can see the flashing red is for the current avalanche warnings right now. Considerable avalanche danger across some of the Cascades of Washington, Oregon as well. And you can see high across some of the Blue Mountains out there and some of western Montana, Oregon, Idaho, and Montana as well. Now, looking at the European, this is hot off the presses. You can see as we go through the day today, you can see some of that snow still there and some of the freezing rain across some of the west slopes of the Cascades here of Washington and, of course, the Columbia River Gorge. And then we kind of scour that cold air out according to the European model. But as we go on in towards the weekend, you see some of this freezing rain still trying to show up for portions east, where, of course, it's much tougher to scour out that cooler air. But you see, by the time we get on in towards the later portion of the weekend, we are going to be warming up here across western Washington and western Oregon. But look at that. The gorge still showing some of that icing going on all the way on through Monday morning. In fact, let's update that because this European is running as we speak. And the icing looks like it wraps up there as we go on in towards Monday night. But man, it can be tough to get out of there sometimes. Now, looking at temperatures, 2-meter temperature. I wanted to show you this here as we go through the day. You can see, 28, 29 up towards Whatcom County and some of southwest BC. Again, the winter weather advisories are out, and then we start to slowly warm things up here. But look at the Portland metro as we go through tomorrow morning. The European still shows some of that sub-freezing air trying to move out into eastern portions of the Portland metro. So again, trying to drill that home. And then as we scroll on into the weekend a little bit more, still remains chilly, but then we warm up as we go on in towards Sunday. And you can see things warming up here. And as far as the European is concerned, no more potential for freezing temperatures here as we go towards the end of the weekend, west of the Cascades anyway. You can see some chillier temperatures still exist for eastern Washington and Oregon. Now, looking at the CoCoRaHS, actually, you can see, look at that, almost up towards a foot there for portions of Whatcom County. You can see a couple inches there across Whidbey Island, some of the San Juans as well, Sequim, Port Angeles, inch or two out there, and some, half an inch there, Burlington, Marysville looks like a little bit of accumulated snowfall. And look out towards Spokane. I was wondering about this yesterday, but it does show some nice amounts out there, up towards 6 inches, Ritzville 1.5 officially, and another round is coming here, folks, and some better amounts probably across some of the Tri-Cities here, and Yakima get another couple inches, maybe 2, 3, and you can see southwest Washington as well. There's snow totals out there. So great stuff here. Go ahead and become a CoCoRaHS member if you can. We need all the observations we can get. Now, looking at the long range here a little bit, this is the European yesterday afternoon. This goes out like 15 days, and you can see this system. It's going to eventually warm things up here across Pacific Northwest. We go through the weekend and some activity here for California. Another storm system takes aim at us here as we go through the early portion of next week. And then you can see additional frontal systems roll through the midweek period. Not much of a break between some of these systems. And there's even some atmospheric river potential here as we go towards next weekend. But take this with a grain of salt. You know, you're looking at 8-9 days out. It's just a fantasy forecast right now, but it's been showing this run to run as we go. And look at this sinister looking thing out here, 300 hours out, you know, purely fantasy at this point. But look at that Pineapple Express right into the Pacific Northwest here. So we'll see how that goes. We're going to be breaking these down day by day as always. We do the daily briefings, so we won't get surprised. And what do we want to look at here? So I believe I was showing, yeah, did I scroll all the way through? Looks like I did. But anyway, yeah, watch out down there. Hopefully that doesn't drop back below freezing across a lot of the Portland metro today. What else? Yeah, back in the gorge here, back up towards Seattle. It looks like we're done with the rain, any kind of snow threat here in Seattle. We did not actually reach any kind of measurable snowfall for Seattle. So that extended strong El Nino snowless streak has continued for now. We still have February to go, maybe even March here, but we'll see how that goes. Sometimes El Nino will tend to take over here as we go on in towards the new year. But we'll watch that, and of course we won't be surprised by whatever is coming here. But we did not get measurable snowfall for Seattle. The last time that happened is January of 1998 during a strong El Nino. So anyway, hope you guys are liking these videos. Well, I'll do my normal daily briefing here tomorrow. Watch out for that snow up towards Skagit and Whatcom County and Whidbey Island and the San Juan, Southwest BC. You guys know the drill, and watch out if you're traveling across the pass as well. Still ongoing snow here over the next few days. So anyway, yeah, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Hope you're having a good day, and I'll see you then.